Well, here's a very, very green piece of apple wood. I got this wood from my sister-in-law and her husband. They just cut a tree down. It's very heavy, it's very wet. I just feel like turning this green piece of wood, and I'm going to see what I can do to get it as thin as I can. Not sure how it's going to work out. It looks pretty solid, but I'm going to give it a try. Okay, I have it mounted on the worm screw. I'm going to bring the center up. It's not that big of a piece, but it's also green, and I don't really want to trust the worm screw holding this piece at this point in time. Just sharpened my 5/8 bowl gouge and getting ready to start cutting on this, and I think after cutting all that locust I did, this is going to be a dream. Oh, that runs pretty good. I got 725 RPMs. Now tell me that's not fun. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get a little shape on this and a tenon and get it turned around and try to get it hollowed out. But it is really soaking wet. I'm going to use my negative rake scraper on this. Alright, I'm going to bring the tenon down the size, flip it around and see what we can do. Okay, turned around. I'm going to mark where it's at on the tenon into my jaws. Not that I plan on taking it off of there, but just in case. Well, I've already started out thinner than I usually make any bowl, but that's even a little less than a quarter. I'm going to have to get it off of the tailstock support here soon. Get a little bit more out of here and then I'll do that. I'm going to move the tailstock out of there. Boy, that tree must have had something going on in it. All right. About maybe a little less than 3/16 there. Oh yeah, I just buried myself in shavings. Yeah, I left my calipers laying there. Well, let's start thinning this down. I'm only creating about 1.5 inches of the sidewalls at a time. By leaving that bottom in there for support, you can do a much finer job with your scraper. If you were to cut the walls all at once, you would have a lot of chatter when you tried to clean them up. Alright, got about 3/4 to get off that bottom area. Well, this a little interesting effect here. I got my light here in front of this. And you can see the light shining through. And I can actually still use my negative rake scraper and take material off of this. And I can see these two colors are almost the same, and down the middle is darker, so I'm actually going to use this to really get that wall close to equal. Make sure that light's not going to hit anything. Alright, this is a little better view. There. Alright, that's pretty smooth. It's pretty thin. I'd say maybe 5/30 seconds. I'm going to take it out. Chuck, I'm going to put some of this wet sawdust in it. I don't know if I need to when they're this thin, but I've got something else to put back in here anyway, so I might let it sit for a couple days. And I still kept some of this in there. So I don't want these on my lathe, so I'll put them in here. There's some noodles. So this is the apple bowl that I started 8 days ago. 5 days ago I checked it and it was just a little out of round. Well, I picked it up today because I figured, well, let me go ahead and start finishing it. And it warped a lot more. It warped twice as much. The bowl ended up 7 1/4 inches one way, 7 3/4 the other, and around 3 inches tall. So I'm going to put it in the lathe and sand up some more areas. I'm not going to power the lathe on, I'll just use it to hold the piece. Well, I've got it mounted against my block with some padding. I'll go ahead and turn it on. That's not all that bad there, but up here it's got quite a little bounce to it. I'm going to put this in reverse and see if I can sand on this area. I just wiped this down with some mineral oil to get all the dust off, and now I'm going to do a little experimenting. I made my own sanding paste, and I'm kind of thinking that because this is so irregular that trying to use my sanding pads on this, it's not going to stay in contact, but maybe by using this sanding paste I'll be able to get a little better finish on that wood, a smoother finish, get rid of any scratches, because it wasn't really totally sanded back when it was still green. It's hard to sand. Now that it's dry, just kind of curious what this will do. And I'll get a paper towel and I'll run this about 250 in reverse. Wow, I have to say I'm extremely happy with how that works. I like it. I'm going to turn it around and try to do the same thing on the inside. Alright, I sanded the outside and the inside with my homemade sanding paste, and now I'm going to use Howard Feed and Wax for my finish. Boy, oh boy, this time of year it comes out like it should. 2 months ago, I could barely get it out of that container. It was so cold out here. Okay, I'll get some on the inside and let it sit for 20 minutes or so. Maybe go have some lunch and I'll come back out and buff it out. I think that a warped bowl is interesting, but it's a lot of work sanding and finishing. Well, here is the finished apple bowl. It's got quite a warp to it. Not sure how well you can see that, but it definitely is kind of squeezed in this way and elongated that way. It's got very pretty grain in it. From the first day of turning until I put the finish on it, it was 8 days. So it dried very fast, and it didn't warp right away. I looked at it at 5 days. It was slightly warped, not all that much. And after the 8th day, this is what it looked like. I went ahead and sanded on it, and it sanded pretty nicely. I did as much sanding as I could right after I turned it. And you can do some sanding on it even though it is green. It tends to clog the sandpaper up, but I got it down to maybe 150 grit after the initial turning. And I did rubbed this bare wood out with the sanding paste that I made, and then I put Howard feeding wax on it. It's really a nice finish, and I like the inside of it a lot. There's the bottom. This is a darkness in the wood. I tried to sand that out, and it wasn't going to go away, so I just said, well, it belongs there, so I'm going to leave it. And the ends, this is all bulged out, both ends. So there's a lot of fun to turn. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button, and that'll let me know. If you currently are not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Many thanks to all of you who are subscribed. You are the reason I do this. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, see you later.